Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bachelor Abigail Heringer reveals cruel comments about deaf accent. Abigail Heringer, who became known for appearing on various Bachelor Nation shows, was also known for discussing her hearing issues on the show. Since then, she has continued the conversation with fans on social media. In a recent share, the star recently opened up about comments she's received over her voice. She also had a response for those who talk about her deaf accent. Heringer first appeared on the 25th season of The Bachelor, where she was eliminated during the 7th week. She later appeared on Bachelor in Paradise during its 7th season. During week 5, she split from Noah Erb. However, the two later rekindled their relationship, announcing they were engaged by August 2023. The couple married in October 2024. During her time on these Bachelor Nation shows, Heringer has often discussed dealing with hearing loss and her use of a cochlear implant. She has since continued these conversations with fans on social media. In one recent video on her TikTok page, Abigail opened up about receiving insulting comments about her voice. She shared, "I spent years in speech therapy learning how to speak normally, and people still make fun of my voice to this day. Some of my content, more so my branded content, has been getting pushed out to an audience that doesn't necessarily follow me and doesn't know that I'm deaf and that I have a deaf accent. Regardless, why is it okay to comment things like this on somebody's page when you don't know anything about them?" The Bachelor star then shared comments she has gotten in the past over her voice. This ranged from being told her voice was cringe and irritating. She also shared that she was once told she sounded like she had a sock in her mouth. Abigail noted that she's aware some people feel this is unavoidable when you share your life on social media or on television. However, she countered, "I would in turn ask, why have we accepted that this is okay to post about someone, especially online, that you don't know?" Abigail concluded things by sharing that she took pride in her voice. She added, "My voice does sound different, and it always has. It also sounds a lot different when I take out my cochlear processor. I have grown to love my deaf accent." Did you listen to Abigail Heringer's recent TikTok video? Did you watch her on her Bachelor Nation shows? Make sure you come back for all the latest reality TV and celebrity news. Abigail Heringer, the trailblazing contestant from season 24 of The Bachelor, captured hearts nationwide, not only for her warm personality and infectious smile, but also for her groundbreaking representation as the first deaf contestant in the show's history. However, with visibility came unwelcome negativity. Recently, Abigail courageously revealed the painful reality of enduring cruel comments aimed at her deaf accent, shedding light on the challenges faced by the deaf community in mainstream media. Her story is one of resilience, self-love, and advocacy, a powerful reminder that our differences are strengths to be celebrated, not stigmas to be shamed. Breaking barriers on national television. When Abigail first appeared on The Bachelor, millions of viewers saw more than just a contestant. They saw a symbol of inclusion and progress. Born deaf, Abigail uses American Sign Language (ASL) and communicates through lip reading and speech. Her participation was a watershed moment, giving visibility to millions of deaf and hard-of-hearing individuals who rarely see themselves reflected in popular culture. But the path to positive representation has never been easy. Despite the warm support from many fans, Abigail soon found herself the target of insensitive remarks focused on how she spoke, the so-called deaf accent. What some viewers dismissed as mere jokes or casual comments cut far deeper, touching on long-standing prejudices against those with hearing differences. What is a deaf accent? Before diving deeper into Abigail's experience, it's important to understand what is meant by a deaf accent. Unlike regional or national accents, A deaf accent refers to the speech characteristics that may result from being deaf or hard of hearing from birth or an early age. Because auditory feedback is limited, speech can sound different, sometimes slower, with unusual intonation or articulation, which some people mistakenly mock or consider less than. Unfortunately, society often perceives these speech patterns as a sign of inability or incompetence, a harmful stereotype that contributes to marginalization. For many in the deaf community, having a deaf accent is a natural aspect of their identity and communication, not a flaw. Abigail's vulnerability and strength. In a recent heartfelt interview, Abigail opened up about the cruel comments she encountered online. She shared that some people ridiculed her speech, comparing it to caricatures or dismissing her thoughts as incoherent. The impact was emotionally heavy. I remember reading comments where people would mimic my speech or say things like, "Why even try to talk if you sound like that?" It hurt because it wasn't just about me. It was about every deaf person who's ever been told their voice isn't good enough, Abigail said. Despite the negativity, Abigail's response was powerful. Instead of retreating, she used her platform to educate and advocate. She emphasized that her voice, and the voices of all deaf individuals, deserve respect and recognition. Changing the narrative from mockery to empowerment. Abigail's experience is not isolated. Many deaf and hard-of-hearing people face similar discrimination daily, whether in school, the workplace, or public life. However, increasing visibility through figures like Abigail is changing the narrative. By speaking openly about her struggles with a deaf accent, Abigail humanizes the experience for people who might otherwise never think twice about the impact of their words. She invites audiences to reconsider what it means to communicate and to embrace diversity in speech. In an empowering message, Abigail said, "Your voice is valid no matter how it sounds. What matters is what you say, the meaning behind your words, and your courage to speak up." The broader impact on the deaf community. Representation matters profoundly. When Abigail appeared on a widely watched show like The Bachelor, she broke stereotypes and inspired many deaf viewers who saw themselves reflected in her. But the cruel comments about her accent also reminded everyone how much work remains to combat ableism and ignorance. The deaf community often faces linguistic discrimination that goes unnoticed by the hearing world. Speech is frequently tied to perceptions of intelligence or competence, assumptions that can marginalize people unfairly. Abigail's story sheds light on this subtle but damaging prejudice. In response, deaf advocates stress the importance of educating the public about deaf culture and communication styles. They emphasize that being deaf is not a deficit but a unique experience with its own rich language, ASL, and identity.